Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Trey, and I want to talk about the DC future state and why I'm a little critical on it, because I think people have to understand that I've been with DC for a long time. I wasn't around during the time of Crisis on Infinite Earths, but you know, a little bit afterwards, I was, into comic books or whatever. But being around DC and seeing all of these little soft relaunches, soft reboots, and everything, after a while, you kind of lose steam or attention for it. You know what I mean? It's like, how many more times are we going to have an event that gives like this retarded soft relaunch or a hard reboot that we didn't really need? You know what I'm saying? It's only so much that a person that's been reading for a long time can really sit through. And even as a new person, how could you bring a new person in when all you're doing is, oh yeah, we're going to relaunch the universe every 5 years? How many more times are you going to get the readers to keep coming back in for that kind of stuff? It is a problem because it kind of comes off lazy. It kind of comes off is that they don't have a real plan. So, because they don't have a real plan and don't want to put any time and effort into other things within the DC universe, we need to do a hard reset boot, or we need to take the main popular characters and give them to other races and see how well they do. That doesn't really help anything at all. It gets kind of annoying. Like, okay, why did you think that these characters need to be there? Why do we need to see a future version of DC universe? You already had a major event in the world of DC that showed us the future of DC, and that was Future's End. And Future's End was a hot garbage cluster fire. Like, you didn't think people forgot? No, a lot of people know about Future's End, and Future's End was terrible. The only good thing we got was Batman Beyond, and even then, that really wasn't all that great because he died at the end of the event and, sent Tim Drake into the future and made him the new Batman Beyond until, magically they brought him back for DC Rebirth. And what was that? Like, come on now. What was the whole purpose of Future's End, Oh, well, the Wildstorm, the, what? Milestone characters, Wildstorm, Vertigo characters, and Earth 2 characters all come to the main continuity of DC and stuff like that. And some kind of dark side of war invasion happened. Some of the people got killed, some of the Earth people got killed, and now the characters from the alternate Earths are hunted down and created and turned into robots and all that kind of, like, who the hell cares? Now we get to the point where we got to the whole, let's see, we want to take a sneak peek into the future of DC universe, a future that nobody really cares about, especially when we already know, a lot of people know it's gimmicky. Some people want to see it, and then some people are just like, whatever, and then some people are just like, no. For me, is the reason why I'm saying it's a no is because it feels like it's a lazy pandering thing. To be honest, it doesn't feel like it's something that's going to move the DC universe forward. It feels like it's just there to be like, hopefully we'll get people in. But a lot of people I'm hearing talking about, well, we're not reading DC for 2 months. Really? Why did you make a event where you cancel all the comic books that people are actually reading for 2 months and talk about, here's this future state stuff, when people don't want it? You have to remember, people just got over the whole Rebirth thing. Then you built Rebirth up just to have certain people in DC to destroy it. And now we're doing future state because reasons. I mean, to be honest, everything that I was reading about future state, I could care less for at all. I really couldn't care less, because for me is, until you could expand the roles and the lives of your extended characters that you already have in the world of DC, I could care less about what the future might look like, what the legacy look like, because we've already had legacy of DC characters. And guess what? Somebody named Dan the Idiot wanted to get rid of all the legacy characters. So why would I care? Why would I literally care when there were plenty of legacy characters just laying around in the DC universe? But what you did, you either rebooted them where they haven't appeared in the universe yet, or you forgot about them, or you killed them off, or you retconned their existence out of there. So what really should I care about? Seriously, and that's the thing that is really turning some people off. And the reason why I am criticizing the DC future state is because it feels like, what is the purpose? Okay, you're telling the story. Okay, that's great. You could have just made that another event. You already have DC Endless Winter coming up, and then you're doing Future State. You didn't need to put them all out in Little Thinky. That could have been an analog series. You got one issue, this is about Batman. Then the next issue, issue 2, is going to be about Wonder Woman. Then issue 3 will be about Justice League. Issue 4 will be about Shazam. So on and so forth, and stuff like that. See how that goes first. Then, other than getting rid of your main line to bring in this line that a lot of people kind of feel like, oh, okay, you're just doing this just for pandering reasons and nothing more, nothing else. That's the real reason why you see some people hating. And to be honest, another reason why the future state, really, to be honest, for me, I can see it for artistic standards. Yes, you got these cool costumes, and let's be honest, these costume designs were really made for the cosplayers. And I'm just gonna be honest, I'm just being real talk with you guys. These costumes were literally made so they can get some cosplayers to dress up in them, and then when they dress up as those characters, they're going to promote it and be like, oh, look how cool these characters are, because we already know that the cosplayers, a lot of them don't really care about the characters like that. I mean, sure, they might care about the characters that they're dressing up as, but like, as far as like, are they really great characters? No. Sometimes they just dress up just because that character's design is cool, that character's costume is cool. That's about it, really. Because I'm telling you, they're going to do, when the whole cosplay thing come back online or whatever and stuff like that, or even when we get to next year or something like that, I'm telling you, the two things that you're going to see the most is Yara Floyd, the Batman one, and Punchline. Even though Punchline's not part of the future state, I'm talking about as far as like cosplay wise, you're going to see those 3 characters out the most, because it shows something. Now people going to be like, oh man, there's a black Batman, there's a Brazilian Wonder Woman, and then you got Punchline, who just looks like really hot, to be honest. And you're going to have them do interviews and stuff like that, where they be like, oh yeah, she's my favorite character, she's amazing, or he's my favorite character. It's really cool to finally see myself in somebody and stuff like that. It's just the same old pandering bull crap that we see all the time. But the real question is DC Future State really saying something, or is it just really pandering? And I don't really think it has anything really to say. Not really, to be honest. Rebirth had more to say than that. Convergence had more to say than that. And let's be honest, that garbage event was garbage too. There's too many gimmicky events coming out from DC, especially when it comes to like a major event. Here they want to follow up with some lame event again. Like, how many more times you gonna put an event, even though DC is good about not really making major events, but when they do make a major event, it's usually followed by a repercussion event or to promote another event that's going to be like the beginning of the DC universe, and then they'll go from there. But you have to wonder, like, how many more times are you going to keep doing that gimmicky pull until people really be like, all right, I'm done, Because look at what you've done with the main continuity of DC characters. You kind of halfway destroyed them, you know? And for what? To try to have some new readers come in, or try to, like, quote unquote, tell Orange Man bad is something. Like, I mean, I don't get it. Or to, like, throw it in the face of fans who are criticizing you. I mean, I guess so. I mean, that's great. But, in the long run, who's going to be around at the end of the day is the real question, and stuff like that. But again, this is what I'm thinking about when I'm criticizing the whole future state. It's not me really, like, don't want it to happen, but at the same time, you have to wonder, why is it happening? Because it does come off as a pandering thing, more so than an actual reason for DC to really be doing this. That's kind of like, after this future state ends, I really don't want the DC universe to touch nothing like this for a long time. No more relaunches, no more reboots, none of that kind of stuff. Again, like I said before, I really think you should just go ahead and bring the pre-New 52 timeline back. It's the well-known one. It has the stacks of history that these characters have. A lot of these characters have a lot of history that you can really work with, than to be trying to, like, come up with new stories that nobody really cares about. Especially when some of the new stories you're telling are literally the old stories that they already did, but with a small tweak to try to fit this rebirth or rebooted version of the same character that they already did the storyline with. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, or all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.